Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming back to my channel and to my class online. This is another recorded session for class online. Class online science for year 5 2021 for revised syllabus of KSSR. Okay, thank you for still keeping up with my videos. Thank you so much for still watching, and please send my regard to your parents or your siblings who helped you to watch my videos, to still keeping up with my videos with Fun Science with Cikgu Zul. Okay, if you can see in my screen today, we are having a lot of plants coming up into my screen today. You can see here and there they are decorated with plants, especially this one of my favorite. Let's go. If you can see by the corner of my screen here, I have decorated them with plant, or I think you know the name of the plant. This is called as the Monstera plant. They are so beautiful and unique. It looks like it has a very special characteristic also, and which also related into our learning today. Okay, so yes, of course, since I decorated my screen, or let's say this is my mini studio with plants, of course we are going to learn about the plants. So plants is another topic which is under the theme of life science. Remember, we have already learned about the human and the animal. There are also the topics under the theme of life science. So now we are going to go through another topic which is also interesting and also relatable to our daily life too. Okay, so if you also remember that from my previous recorded session of class online, I have already discussed and get you to explore the animals and how do they protect themselves from enemies and extreme weather, and what do they do to maintain their survival of species. So let's go on with the plants and let's look on and how they do survive themselves and their offsprings. Okay, look at this lotus. Okay, this is the page from the textbook, and this is digital textbook. I retrieved them from the Delima website. Thank you to the KPM, our Ministry of Education, for providing this digital textbook for the use of everyone. Okay, so let us look here at this page. Okay, look at this lotus plant. Dia kata satu pokok teratai di dalam gambar. Okay, okay, scroll down. Lotus plant, how do they reproduce in the pond? Dia kata macam mana pokok teratai itu boleh membiak di dalam tempat yang berair, iaitu tasik ataupun kolam. Kolam lah spesifik, sorry. The dandelion, look at this dandelion. Where's the dandelion in this picture? You can see down about the page. The dandelion seeds are blown away by the winds. Okay, why do they fly when the wind blows? Kenapa mereka ni terbang apabila ada angin yang meniup? Okay, so let's look at how, or the specific characteristics owned or possessed by a certain plant to ensure the survival of species. Okay, so plants have various specific characteristics to protect themselves from enemies to ensure their survival of species. So we go on to the first characteristic, okay, which is the sharp thorns. Which plant has the sharp thorns? Okay, like the durian and the pineapple. So you see here the situation here. The girl is hurt by the sharp thorn of the durian. Ouch! The durian thorns are very sharp. She said, "Be careful, little sisters. These sharp thorns. What is the purpose? It is actually to hurt the enemies that want to eat them, or the fruit, or them lah, the plant." So if you see the durian have covered the fruit with thorns, whereas the pineapple have leaves on top with sharp thorns. So this is to get rid or avoid the enemies from coming or from eating them. Are we human considered as the enemies? No, we are not the enemies, because human already get used to having the durian and the pineapple and these kind of fruits of plant as our source of food. So we are not considered as enemies. Okay, next characteristic is possessed by the jackfruit tree and the papaya tree, which is by producing latex. They protect themselves by producing latex. So there are another examples, of course, like the mango tree, the rubber tree. So what is the purpose of having the latex? This is to prevent the enemies from eating the fruits or the parts of the plant. Okay, so if you see the papaya tree, if you pluck them or you pick them, then your hands or your fingers will be covered or smeared by some latex. This is not comfortable for us, isn't it? So there goes the same to the animals when they are trying to pick the fruits from these trees. So they are going to get uncomfortable with the situation. Thus, they will avoid eating the fruits. Okay, let's go on to another characteristic, which is the fine hairs. Okay, who possess the fine hairs? The bamboo plant and the pumpkin plant. So the bamboo plant has on its stem fine hairs which will cause us to feel itchy or to get itchy when we touch them. So dia punya batang also the parts of their leaves. So bila kamu sentuh dia, when you touch them, you will get itchy and then you feel uncomfortable. Thus, you will also avoid yourself to get close to such plant, isn't it? Okay, next characteristic is some plant has poisonous parts, like the leaves, stems, roots, and also flowers. I'm sorry for the wrong highlighters. I'm sorry. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, flowers. I'm sorry for my technical issue. Okay, the Alamanda plant. Okay, so this girl is trying to pick the flower from the Alamanda plant. I think you all recognize this kind of plant maybe at your home, or maybe it is found near your school, isn't it? The color is so bright and quite attractive, isn't it? The yellow color of this Alamanda plant. But actually, it can cause poisoning to you or even death. This is not safe for us to pick them. Same goes to the pong trees. Pong trees, they got fruit like this, small fruit like this, but they are not edible. Tidak boleh dimakan. Walaupun nampak macam buah-buah macam biasa, this tree can be found maybe by the jungle, or maybe by the forest, or maybe somewhere in the bushes like that. So if you found them, please avoid picking them or even eating them. Okay, next we go on to another plant which have bad smell to protect themselves from enemies. So it is like the Lantana plant and Citronella plant. Okay, also in this category is the tobacco plant. If you know the tobacco plant, it is tembakau used in making cigarettes. So they are smelly. That's why smokers have bad body odors, because they are taking or consuming the tobacco. Okay, let's go back to the page where we see here the Lantana plant in Bahasa Melayu. For you to easily remember that Lantana plant is called as bunga tahi ayam. If you pronounce the you call the name, you are easily get get it, the funny feeling, isn't it? Because bunga tahi ayam, dengar bunyi pun you rasa macam kelakarnya nama dia, dah mesti bunyi tu bunyi dia punya nama tu dah menambangkan bau dia, betul tidak? Walaupun rupa dia cantik, tamu tengok dekat sini, they got colorful colors like here in pink, yellow and white color, but the smell produced by the lantana plant is bad. So what is the purpose of having the bad smell? What is the purpose of such characteristic? This is to produce strong bad smell so that the enemies will go away. Okay, if you know, the Citronella plant actually is used to scare or to get rid of mosquitoes in buildings or maybe surrounding of houses. So if you plant the Citronella plant in your garden or maybe around your house, it is good for to get rid of the mosquitoes, so your house will be safe from the mosquitoes. Okay, so we look here, the teacher is asking us a question to test our understanding. So you can see here in the circle in this side of page, there is a Rafflesia flower, bunga pakma, bunga Rafflesia kan. I think some people who maybe you have already seen this or observe it through medias or pictures like that. It is a big flower, only can be found in Borneo rainforest, di hutan-hutan yang di negeri-negeri Borneo like Sarawak or Sabah. Jarang, it is rarely found in the peninsula of Malaysia. So the Rafflesia is so big and it has attractive color. So how do this kind of plant survive and protect themselves from the enemies? Okay, I think this is a little bit of a kind of explanation for you to understand the situation. How do they protect themselves? Okay, if you look at the middle part of the flower, you can see it's like a hole, isn't it? In the middle part, it's like a whole structure, and then inside the hole, you can see it is like the presence of fine hairs, ada macam bulu-bulu halus, betul tidak? But the petals are so big and they have spots, isn't it? Okay, so when the insects coming close or getting close to these flowers, okay, or maybe small creatures, when they get close to these flowers, they will try to crawl or get inside in the middle part of the flower, but the fine hairs will trap them inside. Ada bulu-bulu halus tu akan menyebabkan serangga-serangga dan haiwan-haiwan kecil itu terperangkap. So what happened? They will gradually they will die inside the middle part of the Rafflesia, causing the Rafflesia to give out or produce bad smell. Thus, this will avoid the enemies of surrounding creatures to get close to the plant. Okay, and that is how the Rafflesia survive. Okay, so let's read on the science info here. Okay, the Citronella plant, if you still remember, the Citronella plant have bad smell as a characteristic to help them survive against enemies. So dia kata, as it said here, Citronella plants are also known as the mosquito repellent plants. Dia kata nyamuk penghalau nyamuk, repellent, mosquito repellent. So kalau kamu tengok dekat sini, dia adalah organic, isn't it good? Instead of using the chemical spray like the Baygon or Shiltox or whatsoever the brand, you can plant this Citronella plant at your house and acted like the repellent for the mosquito, because the plants, okay, dia kata these plants are usually planted around the house and the leaves of the plant release smell that mosquito dislike. Okay, I would like to highlight these words here. Dia kata pokok ini ada menghasilkan bau. Akibatnya nyamuk tidak suka kerana bau dia. So ini adalah bagus. Di samping you get healthy because you are you are not easily bit, or maybe your house is clear from the mosquitoes. You are also helping the environment to get safe and clean. Lagi bagus berbanding when you are using the chemical repellents. Okay, now we are going to explore on how the plants survive themselves or protect themselves against climate and seasonal changes. Okay, so now if you can see in this picture here, there's two situations. Okay, in the first situation, this is a hot desert like here. Okay, so the situation is hot and it looks like a dry region, isn't it? And the flower here said the weather here is so hot. Dia kata panas. But the cactus here said I like this kind of weather. Berbeza rupanya. Kenapa berbeza? Why are they having different perception? Ini adalah anggapan sajalah, bukan dia betul-betul cakap macam itu. Okay. And then in another situation where the wind is so strongly blowing, you can see here the tree here is so hardly trying to keep itself on the ground. Dia kata the wind is so strong sampai pokok dia punya branches are carried away or blown away by the wind. But here another plant is not worried. I am not worried. Kenapa pula? Ada yang suka, ada yang tidak suka. So kenapa? Sekarang kita nak explore bersama-sama apa yang menyebabkan dia suka dan apa yang tidak suka itu. Okay. In strong seasonal wind or strong seasonal region, strong wind region, tempat-tempat yang angin dia kuat. So for example like the beaches or maybe some places like the seashore or like that, or maybe an island. It's like imagination lah kan. Okay, so dia kata I'm a coconut tree. I have a flexible trunk. Dia ada batang yang mudah melentur. You can bend here and there. I mean to back and forth. Boleh pergi to any side. It can bend lah. Dia boleh membengkokkan dia punya batang tu. And it also has split leaves. Why does the characteristics so? Kenapa begitu dia punya ciri-ciri dia? This is to reduce the force of the strong winds. Okay. Tadi dia ada batang yang mudah melentur, jadi dia tidak akan patah. It will not easily get broken. So it stays strong and survive the condition or the wind, the strong wind in that region. Whereas the split leaves also help in surviving against the strong winds. Okay, the split leaf tu kita panggil dia daun dia berpecah-pecah. So kalau daun dia padat macam tu, like solid shape macam daun-daun pokok biasa, bentuk dia oval ke, atau bentuk dia round or maybe oval lah biasanya kan, daun kan bentuk oval lah kan, bentuk bujur kan. Okay, so dia solid macam ini. When the wind comes, so the leaf will be struck or hit by the strong wind, and then of course the leaf will fall down, isn't it? But if they have split leaves, so the wind coming will come and get through the spaces between or in between the leaves. Jadi daun-daun tu ada ruang untuk membenarkan udara tu boleh pergi ataupun macam mana nak cakap dia meniup di antara daun-daun itu. I am so sorry for my bad interpretation or translation from English to Malay or either side, because it is so hard. Quite hard for me to translate. I am so sorry. I'm trying to deliver my best for your understanding. Okay, kalau daun dia bentuk dia macam biasa, nanti bila kena angin jadi dia mudah gugur. Tapi kalau misalnya dia ada daun berpecah-pecah, jadi ada ruang untuk dilalui oleh angin itu. Understand? Okay, I hope you do. Okay, another tree is the casuarina tree. You look here, you can see or you can find it by the sea area or the beaches area. So I am casuarina tree. I also have trunk and branches that are flexible. Sama seperti pokok kelapa tadi, dia punya trunk and the branches are flexible. Jadi boleh bend here and there, or either any direction. So I also have needle shaped leaves. Tadi dikata pokok kelapa tu ada split leaf, but this casuarina tree, they got needle shaped leaves. Daun dia seperti jarum. If you look in the circle here yang sudah di zoom into, dikata ada dekat sana daun tu, daun pokok ini, pokok ru dalam bahasa Melayu dia, the casuarina tree has needle shaped leaves. What is the purpose? Also to reduce the strong force of the winds. To reduce the force of strong winds. I'm sorry, okay? Kalau kamu tengok dekat situ, itu adalah kegunaan daun dia berpecah-pecah ataupun daun yang berbentuk seperti jarum. Okay, now let's go on to hot climate and dry season plant. And of course, we can easily find this cactus plant in resort ke or the sandy area, tempat-tempat yang berpasir kan. How do they survive? The cactus plant has several characteristics to help them survive in such situation. Okay, I am cactus plant. I can survive in a hot climate and during the dry season because number one, the leaves are modified as spikes. Mana dia punya daun? Dia kata sebenarnya dia ada daun. Cactus sebenarnya ada daun, tetapi dia daun-daun dia, leaves, are already modified as spikes. Jadi duri. Daun dia diubah suai menjadi duri. Kenapa daun berubah menjadi duri atau diubah suai menjadi duri? To prevent water loss. Okay, so sebenarnya daun pokok cactus tu ada, tetapi daun itu diubah menjadi duri. Apabila daun seperti the normal leaves, they have big area, isn't it? Big area. So big area will cause a lot of water loss, because the size of the area for the leaf is big. But for the cactus, the size of the leaf, the size of area for the leaf is small, thus the water loss can be reduced. Jadi daun tu dapat mengurangkan kehilangan air. Understand? So itu yang bagusnya jadi cactus ni. Another characteristic is its stem can store water. Jadi dalam dia punya batang dia boleh menyimpan air. Kalau kamu tengok cerita kartun ke, or maybe a movie, action movie, or any film or drama or anything that shoot or depicting the situation in the desert or anything, bila dia sudah dahaga, siapa-siapa watak dia sudah dahaga, what will they do? They will cut the part of the cactus and then they drink from it, isn't it? Kerana di dalam tu boleh menyimpan air. Jadi dia tidak perlu risau kalau hujan tak hujan ke, it can still have supply of water. So another characteristic is that the cactus has long roots for water absorption in the deep ground. Jadi dia ada akar yang sangat panjang untuk dia menyerap ke dalam tanah yang sangat dalam dan mencari air di dalam sana. Jadi, 3 characteristic of this plant, 3 characteristics of this plant help them to survive in climate with hot temperature or dry situation. Understand? Okay, let's move on to another plant. Ada juga pokok apabila musim itu tiba. Biasanya kalau dekat Malaysia ni kita ada banyak keadaan kan. Kadang-kadang ada musim hujan. Sometimes we got rain. Sometimes we got dry season. So, the plant adapt themselves in different with different characteristic. Okay, the tomato plant, they got stem and leaves covered with fine hairs. What is the purpose of having such characteristic? This is to prevent water loss. Jadi bila musim panas, biasanya musim yang biasa yang normal temperature or normal situation, normal climate, the tomato plant have a fresh looking leaf. Daun dia nampak macam segar saja kan. But in hot season, when the temperature is so high, so it survives itself with fine hairs. These fine hairs will prevent water loss. Okay, same. It's not the same. But the turmeric plant, maybe the turmeric plant and also the ginger plant, it has the behavior of rolling their leaves when it is hot. This is to prevent water loss. I'm quite lost here. Okay, the turmeric plant, okay, it has wide leaves, isn't it? Daun dia lebar kan, daun dia besar, large size of leaf. But when it comes to hot weather, during hot season, they will fold or roll their leaf. Same goes like the cactus. If you still remember, just now I explained to you, bila daun dia besar, when it has a large area of the leaf, so itu akan menyebabkan air itu banyak, water loss increase. But how do they reduce the water loss? They roll the leaf so that the surface area or the size of area for the leaf to reduce. Jadi dapatlah dia dapat mengurangkan air itu untuk keluar. What about the yam plant? Pokok keladi. Bila kita curahkan dia, when we pour water on the leaf, it will not get wet. Why? Because the plant has waxy leaf. The plant have waxy leaf. Dia ada lapisan berlilin. Air dan lilin tidak dapat bercampur. The candle is made up of oil. Dia adalah dibuat daripada minyak. So the content or the wax itself akan menyebabkan air itu dihalang keluar daripada daun itu. So this is to avoid excessive water loss. Jadilah dia dia kekal segar sepanjang masa. Okay, next plant is the rubber tree. How did they survive in hot weather? Okay, the rubber tree, they shed their leaves. Dia menggugurkan daun dia. Bukan sebab dia nak mati kita fikir daunnya dah gugur, pokok getah tu dah nak mati. Actually, during the hot season, they will shed their leaf because the lesser amount or the lesser number of leaf, semakin berkurang daun dia, bilangan daun dia sedikit, the lesser the water loss. Jadi air yang hilang itu semakin sedikit. Nanti when the rain comes again, they will grow more shoots on the tree. Jadi bila dah hujan datang lagi nanti, dia pun tumbuhkan balik daun-daun dia seperti biasa. It is not dead yet. Okay, that is all for our discussion about how plants in strong wind region and the hot climate region survive. What about the plant in cold climate region? Okay, Here, I am a maple tree, pokok maple. Kamu pernah tengok tak Canada flag, Canada country, dia punya flag tu ada simbol daun maple berwarna merah kan. I think you also have seen this kind of trees, or maybe their leaves in a lot of pictures from internet, or maybe in television, where during the fall season they change the color into yellow, orange, or maybe red, isn't it? So this tree is of course very beautiful and found in overseas countries, isn't it? So the maple tree, what makes them able to survive in the cold climate? The tree have thick bark. Apa tu thick bark? The thick bark covering their trunk. Okay, jadi ada kulit. Pokok tu ada kulit yang sangat tebal. Apa yang akan dilakukan oleh kulit yang tebal itu? Okay, so to protect themselves from cold climate. Okay, dia macam ini. Pokok tu bila suasana di sekeliling, the surrounding temperature is decrease or drop, jadi sejuk kan. So air sudah semakin sejuk, air pun kadang-kadang menjadi beku kan, negara-negara di overseas kan. So the maple tree maintain the water inside their body parts, or the parts inside their plant lah, the plant itself, by having this thick bark. So dia di air di dalam tu maintain in liquid condition. Understand? So the thick bark prevent the water inside the tree from getting frozen. Jadi dia tidak beku. So itu yang special dia. Understand? Jadi dia akan kekal segar, mendapat supply of water all the time. Even though the temperature or the water outside or by the surrounding is not already available. Okay, what about this pine tree? I think you know the pine tree. The pine tree is sometimes, or not sometimes, usually used by people when they are decorating their house with during the Christmas festive. Okay, apakah ciri-ciri dia? Apa yang membolehkan pine tree ini untuk survive? Okay, so you can see here the pine tree actually survive in a lot of a situation. Dia boleh survive during strong seasonal wind, hot weather and cold weather. Jadi dia boleh hidup dengan baik, survive in seasonal wind, hot weather and cold weather. How? It has needle-shaped leaf. What is this? What is this for? What is the characteristic with needle-shaped leaves for? Apa yang kegunaan dia? Okay, kan tadi macam pokok casuarina, isn't it? It's like the casuarina trees. So the needle-shaped leaves help the trees to endure the strong wind, isn't it? Jadi dia boleh bertahan walaupun angin tu kuat melanda. Dan pada masa yang sama, at the same time, the water loss is reduced because the size of the leaves is so small. Jadi walaupun musim tu sudah panas, dia daun tu tidak akan mengeluarkan air, tidak membebas, ataupun air tu tidak hilang daripada dia punya pokok tu dengan banyak. Dan pada musim sejuk pula, the pine tree also possess thick bark. Ada kulit yang keras sama seperti maple tree, which help them to maintain the fluidity or the water supply in their body parts. Jadi dalam badan dia ataupun dalam parts of their plant itself ada supply of water for almost all the time. Okay, so kita tengok dekat sini ada test daripada guru ini. Dia cakap the bougainvillea. Do you know the bougainvillea? Pokok bunga kertas, isn't it? Saya rasa ini selalu dijumpa oleh murid-murid. The bougainvillea trees will shed their leaves when the weather is hot and during the dry season. Kita tengok pokok yang ditanam dekat taman-taman dekat sekolah, kita kata dah mati pokok, sedihnya. Tidak, actually they are shedding their leaves, tapi bunga masih ada. Kamu tengok dalam bulatan ni, in the circle here, Bunga masih ada, kenapa tak gugur bunga, gugur daun? When they shed their leaves, they will reduce the amount of water loss. But when you water them again, kamu siram dia balik, kamu beri dia cukup-cukup supply yang sepatutnya, it will grow their leaves back and they will become beautiful plant again. Okay, science info here to end our discussion or exploration today. Thick bark, tadi siapa yang ada thick bark? The pine tree and the maple tree. The thick bark covering the trunks of trees actually to prevent the water from freezing. Yes, okay, I like to highlight the prevent the absorbed water from freezing in an extremely cold climate. So when the cold season is coming, the water supply from the surrounding is going to be frozen, but the water inside the body parts of the plant or the parts of the plant itself, they are not frozen. Okay, that is all for our discussion of the day, of our session for now, about how the plants survive themselves from enemies and extreme weather. We are going to continue on the next lesson with our discussion and our exploration about how do the plant spread their seeds and why do they spread the seeds, or in the in a more scientific word, we call them as dispersal. Mengapa mereka menyebarkan anak-anak mereka ataupun biji benih mereka, dan bagaimana mereka melakukannya. For now, that is all. Thank you for keeping up with my video again and again. I hope you are all in safe condition in this COVID-19 pandemic season, and I wish you all the best in your study. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.